Wow, y'all, you really are in for a treat. I say every episode is my favorite, but I think this one really is. You are going to meet my friend Donna. She's just amazing. She was a widow at 39, raised her children. She's now an empty nester, and she packed herself up, moved herself to the Cape, and she's living life on her own terms. She's starting life with a blank canvas. So listen in. You're going to hear such wisdom, compassion, empathy, and we're all going to want to be Donna after you're done listening to this episode. And I think we're kindred souls. Just a great conversation between two women, and I felt like I was talking to my sister. So sit back and listen in. Well, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Hello Redlow and on this podcast. I'm here today with Donna Spatidol, and did I pronounce that correctly?
Great. That was great. You didn't even practice. That was
great. I didn't. And Donna and I met this summer through a course that we took called Made to Do This, and it was a course about self-discovery and starting our businesses. And so we have just kind of connected because we're both midlife women, empty nesters, mother of adult children, and Donna is an amazing artist. And she has a really great story, and I'm excited today just to come together and learn more about you. And my journey has always been just to help other women and inspire them with our own stories. And so thank you for saying yes. So everyone, please meet Donna.
Hello. Thank you for even asking me, Terry, because I'm humbled. I'm humbled. We all don't feel like we have a story, and that's definitely part of my journey, is not feeling that I'm worthy of a story. So I'm humbled that you would even ask, and I said a big yes and tried not to get scared.
I don't know what it is. Even as you're talking, I feel all this emotion, and I have no idea why. You were the first person I said yes to when I purchased something. I bought a piece of your art, and you're an amazing artist. So I just am thankful that you're here today. I think you have a lot to say. So tell us a little bit about your background. And I know you've moved, and like I mentioned, you're a widow as well. So share a little bit about your journey and what brought you to Made to Do This, and kind of, what brought you to Made to Do This?
Yeah, I'll start with that, just because that's how, you and I met. So I agree with you that we connected. I find it absolutely intriguing that you can connect with people on social media, never having met them, and you somehow find your people, which I think is a miracle and a wonderful way to use social media. So yeah, we did connect, and you bought one of my offers, my paintings, and that was actually really the most exciting part of Made to Do This for me, was doing that for people, because I asked people to either write a poem or some words, and I journal that onto the painting, and then I paint and, gifted that to you for a small amount. But I love people, like you said you do, Terry. I love people, and to just feel like a part of me is in that painting and a part of them is in that painting, and they'll always have it. So my art is such a reflection of me, but also I want it to be a reflection of the people that I'm doing it for. So that's been a journey. But Made to Do This, the reason that I did Made to Do This was I was really looking for my purpose. Like I think all of us were, especially at our age.
Right.
I love Redlow. I love your whole thing, the older, I love it.
And I feel the same way when you said that. I mean, that too, like, I must be super emotional today. Maybe it's those midlife hormones, I don't know. But number one, now I treasure the painting even more, to know that you put that much into it with your heart. It is such a gift. I literally have it sitting on my shelf, and I look at it every day. So thank you. Thank you for that.
No,
and the second part is just thinking about this journey that we've all been on, trying to step into who we are and this self-discovery. And I agree with you. My biggest takeaway from Made to Do This is meeting people from around the world, during COVID, when we we're all trying to figure out what's happening in the world.
and we were given a gift, and meeting you was one of those gifts. And so thank you. So tell us a little bit more too about this move and this next season.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'll rewind a little bit. I have two children, two adult children, 28 and 25, on different coasts. So I have a daughter in San Diego and a son who is with me part-time and kind of finding his way too. So,
Okay.
When they were both going to college, my daughter was in college and my son was just about to enter school, I knew that I wanted to sell the house. I'm from New Jersey, and I am a widow. My husband passed, it was just 19 years.
Wow.
Tragic car accident. So my children were very young. And
Wow,
I wanted to stay in the home as long as I could for them, for just the, the safety and security of being in the same place. And I had a great community surround me. So, it was sudden. He was in a car accident, and it was just everything that you can imagine when something like that happens. So it was, I was 39, and you just never think that that's the way that life is going to go. So I don't know how I survived except by God's grace. And I have great friends. I had a great support group, and I just thank God for my kids, because I just got up every day knowing that I had to be there for them. And but once they got to a certain age, we discussed that we would sell the house and that I wanted to go to the beach. I wasn't sure where.
Yeah. So
I explored different places. I explored the South because my son was in College of Charleston in South Carolina.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So I kind of explored the South. And then I explored the North because I used to vacation in Chatham, Cape Cod, and different areas of Cape Cod. So I kind of explored both. And the South was a little bit too hot for me. I love the change of seasons. I actually love it here. I came a few times to visit, and then I rented before I purchased a home. And I rented for about 7 months. And it just felt like home. And I didn't know why. I mean, there was no hesitation. It's funny when I look back now, I have so many friends who say, oh my gosh, you were so brave. At the time, it didn't feel brave. It just felt like I was being guided. I mean, there was no hesitation. I mean, people said, oh my gosh, that was so abrupt. And it wasn't abrupt. The kids and I had been talking about it for years. I just didn't know where it was going to be. And when it's right, there's no hesitation. Yeah, there was no hesitation. I got here and I knew that I was supposed to be here. And I'm still figuring out why. It'll be 6 years that I'm in my house and almost 7 years that I'm on the Cape, with venting for that 7 months. Wow. And it's been healing. It's really been healing for me to be here. So I think I moved to the Cape. Maybe someday it's going to be a book.
Wonderful.
I moved here to heal, and it's just been a healing journey with the different people I've met, the different jobs I've had, and now doing Made to Do This and meeting wonderful people like you, and really feeling like I want to live with much more purpose than I've lived up until now.
Wow, there's so much packed in this. You're amazing. You are amazing. I want to go back first. How old were your children when this happened, when your husband passed away?
So my son was 5 and my daughter was 9.
Wow. And were you a single mom all those years?
So I did remarry briefly.
Okay.
I remarried about 4 years after my husband passed, and I was married for about 3 years.
Okay. And you're single now?
I am single. So I've been single for about 12 years now. It's a regret, but I also know good things came out of it. And like I said, we're still friends, but that was part of my journey. I had to, I was putting my worth and not giving myself enough credit that I could do it by myself, and just feeling like, you do a lot of what you're supposed to do. Yeah. And I just felt like, oh, for my kids, I should do this. A lot of shoulds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you're probably still pretty traumatized and scared and uncertain and all of that.
Yeah, you don't realize how long you're in shock. I mean, shock, it was years of like, I was still not necessarily responding, but I was reacting to my situation. And it takes a long time to heal. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
finding, just being here and having my kids older now. I feel like I've given myself the grace to heal, where before I was living for them,
Oh,
really
yeah.
living for their well-being. I just
Yeah.
wanted them to be okay, and I didn't think about me.
Yeah. You probably put them first for so many years, just trying to make
Yeah.
it all okay. And I was told, we lost a good friend too. And once we're off, I'll share a little bit of that. But we lost a good friend at 40, sudden death. And I was told that when there's sudden death like that, the grief is so different because you have no time to repair. And here you were, a young mom, it just completely disrupts your way in a completely different way than knowing. I mean, it's never easy, right? But when
Right.
there's a sudden death, a tragic death like that, the grief is just so different. It's really super intense.
Yeah,
So,
I had never known what it meant to be in shock. You kind of
yeah,
use that term very loosely, like, oh, oh my gosh, I was shocked. Oh, I was,
yeah,
and I went into shock, and
oh, yeah,
it lasted a long time. So
yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But you had good friends, you had family around to really kind of support you, kind of help you through all that.
I did. I was so blessed with the people that were around me and lifting me up. I still think about some of the people that helped us,
Mm,
that it's just amazing how people that you don't even know.
mm,
I was even sharing a story the other day. Someone asked what to do when, you don't always know what to do. And I was
yeah.
sharing how someone who I barely knew would send me a card every Friday. I would get a card in the mail from someone who wasn't a good friend. She was an acquaintance at my church, and I would just get a card every Friday. And I can tell you, she did it for one solid year
Wow.
after my husband died. And I would look forward to those Friday cards. In the beginning, I thought, oh, this is nice. And then you look forward to those simple things. So I
Yeah,
tell people, like, just do anything. Like, don't
yeah.
question, just do it from the heart and do it, because you can't do anything wrong. A lot of people want to say, well, I'm here for you, whatever you need.
Yeah.
It's too open-ended.
Yeah.
It's too open-ended. You have to say, you know what, I'm going to bring you a meal every Friday, or I'm going to give you a card every Friday, or whatever it is. Just do it, because it was so comforting to me. It
Yeah.
was like a warm blanket. And
Oh,
it was, yeah.
I love those words. And I've been told that too, that don't ask, just show up and do whatever you feel prompted in your own heart.
Yeah.
The worst thing you could do too is not talk about it, but just show up, be there, even in that awkward space, hold space for somebody. And I got chills as you were talking about that. I mean, what a powerful thing to receive a card every week, just to know you were being thought of, how
Yeah.
powerful was that?
It was so
Amazing.
beautiful. Yeah. So beautiful. I'm not even in contact. I think about her sometimes and say I'd love to, like, find her and let her know, what she meant to me. I mean,
Yeah.
hopefully I told her then, but you forget. You're, like I said, the shock lasted a long time. So
Yeah.
anyway,
But
yeah,
just just those things of love like that, those actions, like we just don't even know what impact it's going to have on somebody. And here you
right.
are all these years later, still that probably sustained you in so many ways,
Yeah, you don't
that's
forget.
amazing. All right. So step into kind of this journey. Now you moved to the Cape, right?
To the Cape, yeah. And I've just been, what? It's a beautiful place. It is healing. It is
Hmm,
just, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. I have some personal things going on with my home right now, so I'm a little bit, um, just a little bit in a funk with that, but embraced that vocation. I
uh,
just took jobs that were safe. I was a graphic artist.
mm,
I became an art director, and then I left a little bit to have my kids. And then I went back. And then when I moved here, I got into retail, which I never worked retail before. But and then I started doing merchandising here and buying, and I loved all of that. But it was still a safe way to be creative
mm,
and also feel like, it was more respected in the world of art. I feel like I got a lot of negative comments when I was younger about, the starving artist and you can never make it. And so I put my art aside and I just did careers that I felt like were either safer and more respected by our
wow,
society. So
wow,
really, since I moved here, it just feels like I'm trying to embrace it more, and absolutely more since Kathy,
mm,
since Art made to do this, and just not really caring what other people think about it. which in our older years, we can do that. Like now
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. And I'm sad for the girl who lost out on so much creativity, and
Mm.
the doors that maybe could have opened, but I'm here to embrace it now, and I'm going to see where it goes. I don't create to sell. I mean, not that I don't create, I would love to make money and make some sort of a living. I don't know where that's going right now. I'm still
Yeah.
in the phase of, like I said, when I did those paintings for you,
Mm-hmm.
doing things like that light me up so much.
Oh,
But
wow.
painting and putting, everyone says, oh, you're so talented and you should sell your work. And I do want to sell my work, and I do sell my work, but that's not like what lights me up. Selling my work isn't what lights me up,
Yeah.
So I'm finding my way.
It's actually the doing and the process of it where
The
you
process.
probably find yourself. If I were to say then, I mean, because obviously, I mean, there's a part of all of us, right? We go back to that part of us that we, for whatever reason, whether there was trauma or we think we need to be something else, we do that. We all take different detours in our life, right?
Mhm.
And I think that's what's so amazing about being this age and where we are in our time right now. We're being given permission to go be who we really are at our core. And I'm on that journey too. Like, what really lights me up? I don't care what society thinks. I don't care what other people close to me think. I now want to be what really lights me up. And what kind of, was it made to do this? Was it moving to the Cape, kind of being there in nature, allowing yourself to heal? How did you kind of give yourself permission to do that, I guess? I know that's probably a loaded question, but what kind of brought you to that place of, okay, I can do this. I can be me.
All of the above. Like, I don't feel like it was one thing, Terry. I feel like it's been all the little breadcrumbs that I followed, even the jobs that I just recently had and the merchandising. And, I took a job that I had no experience in buying and merchandising. I had no experience in management. And I took a job with one of the biggest stores in my small town, but, a very seasonal, busy town. And I just did it. And, I did it before I even met Kathy. I definitely did it messy. I said to the owners, I got this. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. I really didn't know how I was going to do it. And I just followed what I knew was truth in me. Like, I knew, I was like, I got this. I don't know why, but I did. It was like when I moved here, like, yeah, I'm going to move here. And then I took this, and then, so after that job, when it ended recently during COVID, and, it was a bittersweet ending, but I look back and say, I needed to do that to let myself know you could do anything.
Oh,
You could
wow.
do anything that you put your heart and soul in, and that you have, a desire, like it's the heart's desire. And that, not necessarily that was a heart's desire of mine, but when I look back, I say, oh my gosh, like, I did it. So
It's interesting, like when you're talking, because I see so much tenacity, and when your friends say that was courage, it was courageous to do these steps. And I get that part where there's like wind at your back, or it's God guiding you, or whatever that is. I get that. I've been there.
yeah,
But you've got this inner strength. You have this tenacity that you reach down. God, this is going to make me cry. And you just pick yourself up because you can, you have to, and you believe in something, I think, bigger than you that helps you move forward.
right.
Yeah, I see that in you.
I don't know if it's a blessing and a curse sometimes.
I think it's a
Yeah.
blessing.
Yeah, one of my mantras is never give up. I don't ever want to give up. And that's where I am right now. I don't want to give up. And I don't know where the breadcrumbs are, leading me. I don't know. I have, so many, Kathy's asked us, like, if you had 5 things that you'd love to do. And there's, right now on my heart is I want to open a B&B.
Oh, I love that.
And that's,
I
I've only said that to a few people. that know that. I mean, a lot, my children know that it's always been a dream of mine, and to have my art there and to, share my art that way, but also somehow like do what I did for you, Terry, if
Yeah.
like have a place where other people could express themselves creatively. So it's not your typical B&B. So I'm still hashing that out, but that's a dream I have. So
Wow, that makes my heart and my soul so happy. I mean, you take everything that you are, your creativity, the design background, your painting, you're empowering other women. Wow, that just seems amazing. I could see you doing that. Sign
yeah,
me up, I'll be there.
I know, I know. Yeah, it's definitely something that I didn't share, and when I have shared it in the past, I've had people kind of laugh at me and say, what are you, crazy? So, you're gonna get that. So I don't know. I don't know what it looks like, but I didn't know what living here looked like either until I did.
Wow.
So I feel like we don't know until we know. So I'm embracing this unknown right now, but I'm trusting because I've been guided before. And so I'll just trust. I don't know what it looks like. Scary. It's really scary.
Wow. I'm thinking of you when you're talking, I'm thinking your life. And perhaps with all of us, it's a blank canvas. We get to start and paint and create whatever we want. We just let fear get in the way. And you're encouraging me. I mean, it's exciting to see. I had just uttered the words to my daughter, God, if I could really dream, I think someday I'd love to have an Airbnb. Like,
Yeah.
and so I get that. That really resonates. And where you are and the part of the country that you're in, I just think it would be magnificent. And just a way for people probably to come heal.
Right. I love people like you do, Terry.
Yeah.
I love people and I
Yeah.
miss people. I miss
Mm,
like being with people more than just this. The Zoom is great and it
yeah.
has its place,
Yeah.
but I like to touch and feel and see
Mm,
and embrace and hug and love. And so I miss being with people a lot. And that's something that has really come to the forefront recently. I've actually had some really tearful moments with, thinking about my life, and I just really miss people. So
mm.
I
I
need
get
people
that.
back in my life.
I get that. I mean, that really, really resonates. And I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, next time I go to Boston, because our son is in Boston going to college, I'm coming to see you. We're going to
Absolutely.
connect in
Absolutely.
person. Thank
Yeah.
God for all this is over, hopefully with the pandemic, and that the restrictions are being lifted. And I'm going to come meet you in person. I just,
Absolutely.
as we're having this conversation, I'm thinking, okay, this is why I like you. You're just, you've got a whole lot of soul and heart and passion, compassion, empathy for people, empathy for humanity. And I think you have a big voice to help others heal. You really do. Um, that's one, I mean, that just comes across to me just so loud and clear. And it's exciting to watch you on this journey too, and this self-discovery and the gifts that you have to share with the world. It's amazing. It's never just, it's so much more. Like, just as you're talking about the painting, it's not just the art that came in the mail. It is what was behind all that. It's your heart, your soul, your passion, your
That's right.
empathy for others. And you probably feel that. And I think you did a post recently about what you feel kind of when you're painting, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's definitely not, it's more intuitive. My painting has changed a
Yeah.
lot. When I, was in college and majored in art, it was very much copying whatever you see and make it look exactly the same. And I was really good at that. Like that, I had this talent that I could do that. And it felt okay then, and until again, it didn't. It just, since I guess it become more in touch with myself. I'm more in touch with
Mm.
the way I want to paint. And I just don't want to look at a flower and paint it the way it looks. I want to paint it the way it makes me feel.
Oh, that's wonderful. And again, probably giving yourself permission to be messy, not to have it all figured out, not to
Absolutely.
have an end goal in mind, but just to be present, be in the moment, and go with what you feel rather than having it all figured out.
Yeah. I mean, that's a gift from Kathy, is just
Mm,
show up messy. I've even
mm,
tried to give that gift. I'm sure you have too, Terry, to my kids.
yeah.
Just try. try. And, I wasn't raised that way, that you could try. If you were going to try, you better succeed, so interesting. Yeah. I grew up in a very, very strict background. So we didn't have an opportunity to just try things. So, I'm 58 years old and now I'm going to try.
Yeah,
And
that's healing too, isn't it? Just to be able
it's
just to
very, yeah,
try. My daughter and I were recently discussing some things because she's getting married and, what's next. And I said, just try, just do it. Who cares? I give you permission. Do whatever. Do it. If you don't succeed, if
right,
it's a failure, awesome. If it works, awesome. Either way, it's awesome, right?
right.
Same.
Yeah, I feel like we weren't taught that. We weren't taught that if you
Yeah.
fail, it's okay. Now try something else. But we were like, failure was such a bad word, and now
Right.
it just is mind blowing that, yeah, you got to fail. Now I want to try to fail. That's
Yeah.
that's what my podcast was going to be called, Trying to Fail.
Oh, that's
Because
amazing.
I just want to try, and if I fail, I fail. So that's what every day I'm trying to fail. So
Oh, I love that. That's so good. Because we learn more about ourselves, don't we, in those moments? I think that's where the magic is. It's in those moments. We don't have to be afraid of it. We learn so much more about ourselves and who we are, what we don't want. You
right,
know, it's like you took all these different paths around, rightly or whatever, just the way it was, doing all these other things when really at your core you wanted to create.
right.
And I mean, we never end up where we are without those different journeys in our life, right? I mean, it all is part of the path we take and makes us who we are.
Yeah.
But
And just make a difference. Like, I just always felt like what I was doing wasn't really making a difference in the bigger picture of the world and touching people's hearts, their pain. And I guess going through the pain that I went through, I want to be able to somehow help others through their pain. And
wow.
if that's welcoming them to my home, or doing painting with them, whatever that looks like, it's hopefully we'll find out.
Wow. And there's no greater time than this right now, right? We all have had so much pain over these past few years. And yeah, people need you. People need your voice. People need your love, your compassion and empathy. So really, really great. Is there anything else that I've missed that you'd like to share? I was just really intrigued with your journey and how you kind of overcame, after you lost your husband so tragically, and where you are now. It's just a gift to have you here. You have a lot of depth and wisdom, and I appreciate you sharing.
Oh, thanks, Terry. Well, I appreciate that. It's funny. I don't normally talk about being a widow without crying. So I must feel super comfortable with you. You're just creating a really safe space for me, because I am usually really emotional, and I'm shocked that I've been able to talk to you about all of this, and I haven't shed a tear. So I don't know if that's good or bad.
Oh no, I
But
think
your space. I just love the space that you're creating, Terry, for women, to uplift women. And we don't, as women, we don't do that enough. We don't lift each other up. And I feel like the course that you and I went through was about lifting other women up. And
100%.
not just women, but because we're women, that's what we're doing, but lifting men and women, everyone. And unfortunately, the world isn't always like that, but I just appreciate what you're doing. And
Thank you. That blesses me so much. And I think it's hard, when we're trying to lead and encourage and all that. I have days where it's hard, I doubt too, I question, and it's why I'm here, because I really saying, just like you, I want to empower and help women who've gone through these difficult things. I want to be real and vulnerable and say, put one foot in front of the other, just keep going. It's never too late. We're learning that we're going to live longer. Midlife women now are really being sought out for so many things. Now, I mean, we're in a great place to start our businesses, to have a voice, and that's exciting to me. I love that. So thank you for that feedback. And like you, I've met so many wonderful women along this journey, and so thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You lift me up every day, and I just love that, it isn't easy. And like I said, never give up is just something that I say to myself and to my kids, just don't give up and
Wonderful.
follow the breadcrumbs.
Oh, I love that too. That's another golden nugget. Follow the breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen
thank
to
you
your
so
heart.
much.
Listen
Yeah,
to your
listen
heart.
to your heart.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't know how to do that for a long time, Terry. That was, growing up in the home that I grew up in, I didn't know how to listen to my heart. You kind of stuff the feelings down and you stuff the dreams down and you stuff until you don't actually feel the heart. So that was really when I moved here, I started listening to my heart. And that was the gift of the Cape. And I don't know how long I'll stay here, but it will always be the gift of the Cape is when I started to really listen to my heart.
Wow, I love that. I love that. I really, I was thinking about, this season of life and finally being able to let go of all the things that we think we were supposed to be, that we can, just by being who we are is enough. And obviously you've given your kids that gift, and I hope I have as well, just allowing them to be themselves, because I've had to undo so many of those things that I thought I was supposed to be something, and now giving myself permission to follow my heart and be okay with that.
It's not
Really?
easy. I mean, I might be making it sound like it's easy, but it is a daily, it's a daily practice and a daily struggle sometimes, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But
And I love, just the other day I heard, I think you were following Maria Shriver too, with her the radically reframing aging. And
yes,
I love Vanessa Williams. She just said, the best part about being this age, and she's 58 as well, we
yeah,
just no longer give a damn what other
yeah,
people think. And I thought, yes,
yeah.
it's so freeing.
I can't imagine I can't imagine being a 20-something-year-old feeling that way, but that must be wonderful. When I see these young kids, where I am now, I think, oh my God, if only I was that way then, where I'd be now. But I think the younger generation are just going to be a lot better off than us because they're exposed to so much more because of social media that, so many blessings and so many teachers that they can just, at the click of a mouse or an Instagram, and they can have these experiences that we didn't have. But
And I think they have us, we've
yeah,
learned some hard lessons. And I think I have one daughter that, gosh, early on, she just didn't care. She was going to be who she was, and she's still that way. And I used to say, when I grow up, I want to be her.
yeah,
Because from early on, she just had that confidence. And I just love that. I've learned so much, just like you say, I've learned so much from my children. And that's been a gift as well. So,
well, I have a son just like your daughter. I
oh,
say I want to be Andrew when I grow up. Yeah,
you have an Andrew? I have an
I have
Andrew.
an Andrew.
My
Yeah.
oldest son's Andrew.
Oh. Andrew and I are kind of on the same path. I'm watching him find his way, and I'm kind of tagging along, trying to find my way. But yeah, they're definitely teachers. We're their teachers, but I think they've been really wonderful teachers for me too.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that. I feel the same. I love that. I think if we pay attention and we're present and our eyes and our hearts are open, we can learn a lot from our children as well. So
Yeah.
I love that. That's beautiful. Well, you are an amazing human. I look forward to your book, your paintings, and your Airbnb.
Yay!
Oh, and your podcast.
And my podcast. Yeah.
However that turns out, whether it does or doesn't. But I look forward to all that's in store for you, and just to continue to grow our friendship. I really adore you. I adore you more now than even before we got on the podcast. So,
Aw. Well, I adore you, Terry. I love everything you're doing with Redlow. I love it. I think it's
you.
great. And I know you're going to go big places. I can't wait to see where you go. Yeah.
Well, thank you. And is there anything else you'd like to add? Anything I've missed that you'd like to share? You'd like the world to know?
Oh gosh, no, just be kind. Be kind. Everyone be kind to themselves and give themselves grace, and hugs, lots of hugs and lots of love and grace. Yeah.
I love that. And we're going to end on that note. Give yourself lots of love and grace and hugs and love others.
Yeah.
You can find Donna on Instagram at,
That's Spatidol.
okay, I will link it to the show notes here so people can follow you, see your beautiful art, and learn more about you. I think your posts are wonderful too and uplifting, and you have so much compassion. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. I hope everyone has an amazing day and you feel the love, her heart, her compassion through this audio podcast. Have an amazing day.
Well, after we were done recording, we were talking off camera, and Donna told me a few other golden nuggets. So I hit the record button, and this is what she had to say. So listen in.
Okay, so I'm really intrigued about this part of you that has moved to the Cape and started over, started again, kind of reinventing yourself. So tell me what that journey was like.
That's exactly what I feel like I did, Terry. When I moved here, I gave myself permission to reinvent myself. You know, I did things that I maybe would have been a little bit more self-conscious about in New Jersey. And I don't even think I told you this part of it, but even my physical appearance, I decided to go gray when I moved to the Cape. I said, I am not going to dye my hair. I am going to be who I am. And my hair started going gray probably in my 30s, and my mom did too. So that was the first step. And not a lot of people liked that. When I would go back to New Jersey, I would get a lot of looks, but it felt so freeing. So that was the first step. I said, I'm going to be my authentic self, and I'm going to stop dyeing my hair. And then I also did things that I never would have done. I read the local paper every day, and I found things that were going on. I found local artists. I found trivia nights. I found local bakeries that I could go to. And I just embraced myself in my small little community. And it was so freeing. And because I moved here not knowing one soul, that's the other thing. Everyone can't believe that. And I can't believe it that I just packed my dogs and myself and I moved here.
Wow.
But it was so fun to just explore things that I never would have done. I don't love trivia, but I loved meeting the people and being in that atmosphere. I love people. And so I just explored, and I took painting classes. I met an artist who is, a similar age as we are. And I started taking her painting classes, and I started figuring out, like, how do you even like to paint? What do you like to paint? And I did. I started painting the way I knew how to paint, which was to copy. And then that didn't feel good anymore in her class. So I just did things differently. And I gave myself permission, which I feel like starting in a new place is a great time to do that. You don't have the people around kind of saying, oh, she's a little different. They don't know I'm different. But I am a lot different than I was in New Jersey.
I love it. And I wish you all could see her face. She just has this great, big, bright smile, and her eyes are just lit up. And this just makes my heart so happy. It makes me want to have a big adventure like this. It's wonderful. And it's so freeing. And I hope everybody hears that. And I have a friend too who just let her hair grow gray. And it just makes me so happy to hear you say that. You are going to touch a whole lot of lives just by saying that. And
I forget about it. It's been so long, like the gray part, but it's so freeing. And you hear that from so many women that were kind of hiding behind, what we look like. And my hair's healthier, and I couldn't even put it in a ponytail when I was dyeing it because it was so brittle and dry and dead. And now, but not everybody embraces that, but and
it's beautiful. It looks beautiful on you as well. So as you were talking, it made me think about, forgive me if this is wrong, but is it Shonda Rhimes? I can't remember that she's the producer, about the season of Yes. But you just said yes to yourself. You gave yourself permission. Everything was yes. Let's just try it and see. And let's just try these things now. You now have permission to do that. It's amazing.
Yeah. Permission to say yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I love that. So thank you so much for sharing that. What a wonderful adventure.
You're welcome.
It was great. Thank you.
And this is why I do what I do. It just sets my soul on fire. Thank you so much for being here and for listening in. I will put all of Donna's information in the show notes where you can find her on Instagram. She posts beautiful posts each day along with her beautiful artwork. Know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you belong. God bless.